What's up everyone, Blade here, and welcome back to another video of Persona 5X. So today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and going over Fuka's entire kit, seeing that she comes out later on tonight. So what better time to go ahead and come out with this than now, seeing that a lot of us do need to figure out exactly what she does, especially if we are trying to use her and play her as much as possible. So if you guys are interested in this, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video, and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out quite a lot. If you're new here or even returning, be sure to check out one of the videos on our channel here, seeing that we have an active giveaway going about, and on the 17th we're going to be ending that whole thing and choosing the winner. Now this is going to be for a whole rotation on the banner of their choice, which is going to be specifically for Futaba. If you guys are looking forward to fully Futaba here, this will be the best time to go ahead and do so, seeing that she's going to be out for a long while and a ton of you guys really do want to get some dupes on her. So if you really want to do this, be sure to do it at this point in time. It'll help you get her out very quickly and help you just enjoy your time here. But let's get into the video. So as we do know, Fuka is going to be coming out later on tonight, and that means a lot more content, but it also means a lot of stuff that we have to actually prepare for. Fuka is going to be a new Navi, which every time they end up releasing a new Navi, the Navi is always stinking broken one way or another. Well, Fuka's no different. She's gonna have a different little play style that's different from the other Navis, seeing that her herself is not really helping you out on the buff spectrum. What I mean by that is, like, we're not getting any real crit rate from her. We're not actually having something that's heavily focused. For example, Futaba focuses in crits in the defense down capabilities, while Anj here focuses on like pierce increasing. Well, Fuka doesn't do either one of those, and so it makes her a lot different compared to other characters themselves. Not to mention, of course, this is a new C's member, and I think this is going to be the last C's member that we get for a minute, because they're going to go back to doing the story in OCs. So I think this is going to be the last of the C's members that we do get for now, until they come back with P5 or P3R itself as another collaboration. So it's kind of a huge thing that's happening here, but we want to check out her whole kit here, and what better place to check it out than lafel.net. If you guys have not been on this website before, be sure to go ahead and jump on here. They have everything that you really want to go ahead and see, being all the characters, whether it's on KR, CN, TW, and as well as the global guys with their new updated kits. So be sure to check out the website. It's really freaking helpful, but we're going to get straight into it. As I did say before, Fuka is not going to be helping you with any buffs. This is the thing that literally states it here. Fuka doesn't provide defense downs. She doesn't provide any pierce rate buffs or anything like this. So all of your buffs are going to be based on your team. So you're going to really need to keep in mind of this. But the good part that she does bring is that she's able to swap out your characters. So how this pretty much works with Fuka is you're technically picking 5 characters. Unlike the 4 characters that we have on the field, including the 5th, I guess you could say, is the Navi here, you're now going to be picking a 6th character. This 6th character is going to be able to replace one of your 4 units, and pretty much whenever Fuka does use a little special action of hers, you're able to swap them in for a specific amount of time. Now, usually I think it's only for 1 whole turn. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, anyone, but it's 1 whole turn, so you will have to make the best of use of this. Now, the thing about this is, when it does come down to these characters here, she will copy over the buffs, except for the ones that are placed on the character. So if a character is self-buffing themselves, she won't ever replace those or copy that over, but she will copy over any buffs that have been AoE placed on them. So it's a really good thing to do when you're trying to get your team comp to be as good as possible, as circled as possible for those type of things. And what they do as a way to actually explain this as well, especially with the action turns and the copy buff turns here, is whenever Wonder does receive a buff from like Turbo for 2 whole turns and Rebellion for 3 turns, Fuka will swap Wonder with Cord, and then next thing you know, Cord will copy the Turbo buffs but cannot copy the Rebellion buffs. See what I'm saying here? Because that's a self buff that Wonder has put on himself. So at that point in time, whenever he does swap back into the game, the Turbo highlight buff, since it was placed on Cord, will not go to Wonder, because at this point in time he already has the Turbo buff. He has everything that he needs. He won't get the Turbo highlight buff because it was not used on him. This was used on Cord, and so it was used on everyone else except for him. So at that point in time, you're not getting those buffs. The only things that you will keep is that self buff that you got swapped in with or swapped out with, and that's about it. Person who got swapped in gets everything else, seeing it was a splash buff itself. Now, the thing about this that's kind of interesting with Fuka is, with this in mind, she still does have some very interactive gameplay, but the things that she also doesn't bring over is passives and talents. So they're just going to be kind of a shell of a character when you're using this. You don't think that whenever, of course, they're active, they're going to get all this craziness. No, but what will happen is any debuff effects will be applied on the enemy. So that's going to be one thing that you're going to be able to keep a good lookout on. Now, for Fuka herself, the character is pretty easy to build. We already know how we have to build this character here. So if you guys want to pause it, you can go ahead and do so. But what we really want to pay attention to is this character is really help oriented on offensive based things here. She's able to help us out with our party attack, which is on her first skill. On her second skill, she's able to, of course, help out with our party attack, our 3G increase, and our highly increase, which is always great. And then on her third skill, we get even critical damage increases as well, which is always a cool thing. But whenever this third one does happen, she actually does have a couple conditions that we can go ahead and do. Depending on it, which is just a random effect here, one of the conditions can cure our mental ailments, which is great on the debuff. Another one can, of course, heal us 25% of our max HP. And then another one is able to restore our SP. So we have a couple different ways that can make this really good. And including this here with her passives, she's able to increase our party stats more than a normal Navi would. And she's also able to give us a better critical damage by 24%. So she does offer a decent bit to the table. It's just a little bit different compared to our other Navis, which is kind of decent, I guess you could say, because it makes her to be in a very interesting spot. But where a lot of people are starting to get a little confused here is the swapping mechanics. So the swapping mechanics, as good as they are, there's a couple plot holes that kind of just exist here. And that's going to be the amount of turns it does take to swap in and out. That's also going to be the things that it swaps over. Well, we already went over the buffs, so I don't have to really go over that again, but it's the turn amount that's getting everyone kind of a little bit mixed up, because with the turn amount, you can't really go back and forth all the time. So you have to really make good use of it. At A0, she's only going to get one of these. So you do need to really make sure you can make good use of it, because you probably won't get this back for a good 16 turns. I think it was, or 12 turns, something like that. So surely do know when you swap in, make it the best time to swap in. But with the A0 itself here, she's able to gain certain wish listener stacks, or at least these set stacks here, that do increase based on her level. When she does have these stacks, which can go up to a 4 amount here, she can then spend these to use Oracle Shift, which is the whole thing to make a current character now inactive or a backup character. This is going to be her bread and butter, so you truly want to make sure you're getting those stacks on off, which shouldn't be all too hard since they do come with her A0. But alongside of this thing here, it's not as if this is a extra turn per se. As long as everyone is alive, we're able to now take our turn back and count it as one combat turn. Now, during this said combat turn as well, after our backup character is now active, it will then decrease this skill cooldown for every combat turn that we do have. So we are able to get the Oracle Shift back pretty quickly, or can get it back quickly, but it's not gonna happen really. Like, it's kind of like Anja's thing where we're able to use her extra turn thing, and yes, it can come back quick, but after a certain amount of turns. Even though we can get this back, don't expect it to happen multiple times in a round, so do keep that in mind. But where a lot of people are starting to get her up to, it's going to be the A1 or the A2, seeing that the A1 here, we're able to get more wish listener stacks, which can now go to 8, and we also get a critical rate buff, which is great. But if we went to A2 here, we're then able to immediately use a 30 or a highlight, which is going to happen 3 combat turns too. This pretty much makes her into like a cord wannabe at this one, and it's insanely good to actually have. The only problem is it's extremely expensive. But with this expensiveness here, it does increase our total damage amp by 6% for a turn. And then whenever we have an ally who's 40% max HP, it will also increase their HP by 20% of that said max HP as well. So I mean, like, you do get a little bit of both, best of both worlds here when you do use this character. So it's quite interesting to see how she does things. But for what I know with this character here, she can be placed into any team pretty much, as long as they have at least a highlight or a 3G. So it does come up with some crazy little combinations depending on what you really want to have accomplished inside of the game. Now, the last thing that we're going to go over is at least her weapons. Now, her weapons, Rainbow Conductor, this increases her critical damage by 36.3%, and it does help you out with more of the wish listeners, that's the stacks that you do need. By getting some of these stacks here, you're increasing your party's attack by 2%. And then of course, whenever she does use her Oracle Shift, which swaps out a character, you're getting a party critical damage up by 15.3% for 3 whole turns. The 4-star weapon increases the attack as well as increases your attack with the Oracle Shift, but you're going to be missing out a lot on these critical damage aspects, making these headphones even more worth getting. I'll be trying to get at least the 5-star ones just once, and then of course max out the 4-star one as always to showcase the differences on each of the power levels. So look out for that very video when it does come on out. But the character herself is kind of interesting to see. We're mainly going to see a character that actually does help us out on a ton of attack stats, as you can see right here. We do get some critical damage stats from her, but really it's just going to be helping us out on attack while allowing us to take advantage over a technical 6th character. So I'm interested to see how this is really going to work on TW, because I did not want to spoil myself at all on this character. So I haven't been watching any content when it does come down to her. So without further ado, we're going to be able to experiment more later on tonight. So hopefully all you guys' pulls do go well. If it does, please do let me know. And we're going to go ahead and end it on off. Thank y'all for watching. And until next time, everybody, peace out.